All right, so you guys just heard the beep, and we are ready to get started. So, well, it's post beep, so just ignore that part. So you'll hear a little beep, everybody listening. It's our new intro. So Devin and I came up with a new intro. It's just a splash screen and a beep. It's awesome. I love it. What do you think about that, Devin?
I'm all about getting right to the content. The quicker we can get to the to us bullshitting, the happier I am.
So yeah, I am, Devin. I feel like you're not a foreplay guy.
I'm not. I want to get straight in there.
Gross. All right, so you gotta. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Actually, tonight I'm gonna leave it alone tonight, Devin. Normally I would go down that rabbit hole, but I'm gonna let it go. You know why?
Why is that?
Because we have an awesome guest tonight, and I feel like we don't want to taint him with our, octopus ink that we have in our brains.
I would before we go down there, and I would just like to say that you did say taint, and just point that out for the record.
And whole, but that was a quote, Devin. I'm kind of upset you didn't get it. It's from a movie back in the maybe early 2000s called Slackers. It was amazing, very, very. Not many people knew about it, so
I've seen it. I didn't remember the quote.
How dare you?
I'm not a movie quote kind of guy.
All right, so our guest tonight, as I said already, he's an awesome dude. His name is Rozald Vane. He has a YouTube channel. Him and I met a year or so ago. I don't remember how long on a little known site called Damn Lag, where people kind of form a community around YouTube. But Rozald, Rozald Roz, we'll go by Roz. Is that fair?
Yeah, go by Roz. It would be better. It's easier, as I mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you want to go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about your channel, what you do, what separates you from, the other YouTubers out there, and why people should come check you out.
All right. My channel's name is Rozald Vane Game, and my channel is based upon playing a variety of games, from AAA games to indie games and weird games, I guess, that I can find on GameJolt and IndieDB, I guess. But mainly focusing on AAA games and well-known games out there, I guess. What separates me from being different from other channels, I guess, just the commentary, I guess. The commentary, the logic, the opinions, and all sorts of the games that I play. I mean, I'm well focused into gameplays, I guess.
I will say that I was watching some of your videos, and you were really good at keeping the commentary going without it getting too boring. A lot of YouTubers, or at least Let's Players that I've seen, their commentary kind of falls to where I almost would rather they weren't talking, and I never got that feeling from watching your videos. It seems like you're really relaxed and you're really good at keeping a good discourse going about what's going on in the game and that.
And that... Didn't even finish that.
What was that?
You said "and that," and I was like, did you finish your sentence? Or
I did. I was going to add something on, but then I lost it, so...
Oh, okay. All right.
We're just going to pretend that didn't happen. We're going to keep moving.
Well, when it comes down to horror games, it's going to be a completely whole different story for me. But yeah, everything else is just the same old, same old. And I do try to look at how I commentate in certain parts of the games, because I don't want to over-commentate where people will be like, oh, this guy's too talkative. It's like, it's getting annoying and stuff. Or I want to skip over this part because it's just, he's talking too much about this thing, and so on and so forth. And yeah, it does bother me as well when it comes down to commentary, but I try to I try to find an equilibrium between every video when it comes down to recording it.
So what's your deal with horror games?
Okay, well, my channel started off as a horror channel, but then it slowly grew into a AAA sort of like game stuff, and like as I got my new PCs, it started going to that trend. But when it comes down to horror games, I speak just like this. I just speak really fast, and I just want to keep going, and I don't want to just stop because it's really scary, because I can't know what to do. I just got to keep thinking and got to shoot those words, and then I slow down when I'm not doing anything.
What's the scariest game you played?
Right now it's Amnesia. It's between Amnesia and Outlast at the moment still.
Outlast for me. Oh my god, Outlast was horrible. It was such a horrible experience. I loved every minute of it.
And that's why I'm looking forward to Outlast 2, when it's coming out in the fall.
Nice. Yeah, so I hate horror games. I mean, it's not, I don't get terribly scared of them. You know, I used to watch horror movies all the time. It's just not for me. And, you know, unfortunately, we have a very close friend of the channel, and her name's Karen Bob, and all she does is play horror games. And so I feel really bad for neglecting her channel because I just don't want to watch them. I mean, it's just, you know, Devin, I know you're Mr. Horror. You're a horror. You know,
Yes.
You just said that.
Self-proclaimed whore, but
You're such a whore.
I am. I am a whore for the horror.
Oh,
it's
God.
fair. And so I want to say, you know, I know you're into it, but dude, I don't do it, you know?
Yeah, I enjoy them. They're the only games that I get completely lost in. Usually I'm pretty good at getting I'm very bad at getting distracted while I'm playing a game, you know, check my phone, you know, pause it, check Reddit or whatever, you know, but when I'm playing a horror game, that's all there is going on. I get so sucked into it that that's what it makes them so scary. I don't know why I'm not distracted when I play one of those games, but I'll turn off the lights and just get engrossed in it. It's phenomenal.
Nice. Yeah, man. Not for me. I don't hate you for liking them though.
You can hate me a little bit. It's fine.
I do gotta say, man, I'm pretty excited though. I went to before we get into the stuff you play topic, I went to the comic book store kind of by my house. It's about a 10-minute drive, and this is my first real foray into comic books. So I kind of asked the guy, I'm like, where do I start? What do you like? What's a good place? And I was a little disappointed because he didn't like Marvel, like, at all. So,
oh, you got a fanboy when you went in there, huh?
Yeah, and so I ended up buying Deadpool Classic Volume 1. So that's like his first introduction into the MCU. And I am super excited to start reading it.
I will let you know, like, because I don't know if you know this, I'm a huge comic book guy. I've been into them since I was 12. I go once a week, take my daughter, I'm getting her into it. The early Deadpool is not like Deadpool in the movies. Right. He didn't become kind of the goofy, zany, murder side person he was until the 2000s or so. Right.
And I knew that, so I'm not immune to the I don't want to say the MCU, but the Marvel Universe. You know, I've kind of kept up with it. I just haven't read the comics. And to be honest, I did know that because you talked about taking your daughter the other day. And so I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. So that's exactly what I did. I took my daughter, and they actually had a pretty cool free kids comic there that was all about the superhero girls. So the guy obviously gave that to her for free. And then I bought the Deadpool Classic, and I guess DC Universe, he was telling me that they've fucked up so bad in their own little universe that
they're on like their 32nd reboot in like the last 15 years.
Yeah, exactly. So he had the DC Universe Rebirth Volume 1 for $2. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll start that over. I'm fine with that. But I think I want to go through the entire Deadpool classics. There's like 14 volumes.
Nice. Enjoy that. Make sure you look out for the shitty Rob Liefeld artwork while you're doing it.
Deadpool, even before he becomes the Merc with the mouth and the movie and all of that, he's always been my favorite character. So I don't know if you've played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. But I think he showed up in number 2, and man, he's by far just my favorite. Hands down.
Roz, are you into comic books?
Well, I don't have a comics book store nearby me, and I mean, in California, it's like very rare to find one. I think because it's really rare to find one in terms of like out in the street, out in the open. I think they're just like this is like Wild Western comic store land. It's like if you want to start a comics book store, the rarest you can find in this world is like in Cali, because it's like I think the main population of California is like diversity, and it's like it's hard to see something kind of like that is based in America that kind of just sits in a store around. And I mean, I'm trying to divert that. There's more manga than comic books around here, but still,
that makes sense. I can understand that.
Yeah, and I mean, even though it's like that, I think I still would read comic books online if that's the case, I guess, since it's easier to get access to versus a comic book store. I mean, it's sad to not have the interaction of, like a comic boy fanboy or something like that.
I don't think that's too sad, man. No, you're not missing out on much there.
Yeah, I mean, it's better with opinions in reality versus, digitally and in words being written on the comic boxes. Right.
I'll give you that. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I went on there. So Marvel does have a pretty good digital comic book subscription. I think it's $15 a month and you kind of get open access to all their comics and, audience, correct me if I'm wrong. But before I did that, I'm like, you know what? I want to go talk to a guy. I want to see what he thinks is a good jumping in point for there, because there's a few things that I want to read. And audience, if you can leave a comment what your favorite story arc is or what character you guys like the best. I want to read all of Deadpool, obviously. I want to read the Civil War, the actual comic book series. Because the movie, don't get me wrong, I love the movie. It was very good. I'm not going to post any spoilers, but it doesn't follow the Civil War from the comics very closely. It very loosely follows it, right? I want to read the Infinity Wars.
Yeah. The issue is that the Marvel movie universe doesn't have access to all of the characters that they do obviously in the comic books because of, the licensing rights and stuff like that. Right. So things get changed, they get streamlined. The Civil War was across the entire universe. So it was hundreds of superheroes and supervillains. Every single comic that they had at that time that was part of the regular universe, not the Ultimate Universe, was involved in it. So there wouldn't have been a way to make the movie completely match up with the comic. I thought they did a great job of giving that story justice in the movie. Agreed.
And it's very hard because, like you said, there are hundreds that fight in this war. But there are some that aren't licensed, so obviously Fantastic Four plays a very big part. The X-Men play a big part. Spider-Man played a big part, which they actually, I want to say they bought the rights back from Sony because they...
No. They got a deal with Sony. Sony still owns the rights, but basically Sony admitted that they're really shitty at making Spider-Man movies. Yes. So they basically told Marvel... listen, you guys, you make a Spider-Man movie and put our name on it, and we'll let you use him in your universe. So right. the next Spider-Man movie will be a Sony movie, but Marvel's making it, basically. It's a Marvel movie with Sony's name taped on it.
Right. But, okay, so Hank Pym plays a bigger role in the Civil War than Scott Lang did. And the Wasp is there, and, all of these other characters that aren't, I want to say the new Avengers are there too, aren't a part of the movie, but they're in the book. So that's why I want to read it. And they're also doing the second iteration of the Civil War. So Civil War II is coming out. And that'll be interesting to read too. So, so Civil War I want to read. I want to read the zombies because I like zombies. I think it's fun. And it's kind of interesting to see all these heroes become zombies.
I think this should be a new segment on the show. We should talk about what comics we're reading.
I'm down for that.
This is history right here, folks.
History making. Count it here. Thanks, Rozald or Roz. I appreciate it, man.
What did I do? I didn't even contribute to the conversation much.
No, man.
You did it all.
I was just sitting here listening.
You are our muse, man. You are our inspiration for this, so thank you.
Also, I would like to recommend Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, if you're going to read Deadpool, that is the story to read.
It's like a trilogy, I think.
It's basically the chronicle of how he kills everyone in the Marvel Universe.
That's so awesome.
It's like a parody towards the Punisher kills Marvel Universe, I think.
Yes.
Nice. Nice.
And then there's also like the trilogy, as I mentioned, with Deadpool versus, I think Deadpool kills Deadpool or something like that. And then there's a third one, which was like, I forgot, like, I don't know what was the second one. Damn it, can't remember the title, but it was like Deadpool kills another thing. But it's mainly focusing on like Deadpool just literally killing everything.
I don't know if that was part of the trilogy, but I do know that at one point you find out that Deadpool was the cause of the Marvel Zombie universe.
Yeah, partly.
That's so awesome. I'll have to read it. So, all right. So enough comic talk. Devin, you and I, we will discuss that further. But here's the part where I'm going to play the bumper for stuff you play.
Bump.
Stop your play!
So again, thank you, Golem and Goblin, for that little soundbite. It was great. I want to say they were episode 7, so go back and check it out. There was a time when we had our guests sing for us, and it was pretty funny. But I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, you're just embarrassing them, I guess.
Yeah, it kind of caught them off guard. And if they were, you know, proud of their singing prowess, I would have allowed it, but I'm not going to push it. So, again, this is the section, if you're new to the show, this is the section where we talk about video games that are not on our channels. So, Roz, I'll let you go ahead and start. What's a video game you're playing that you want to bring up to everybody? We lost Roz, so he got disconnected, so sorry about that. We'll go... Roz, did you come back? No. We'll go ahead and go to you, Devin. Devin, what are you playing?
Okay, so I think our game is going to be the same this week, as we both decided to start adventuring in Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls.
We started that last night. I'm having fun with it. It doesn't feel exactly like an Elder Scrolls game, but there's enough of the elements there that are an Elder Scrolls game that it kind of itches, it scratches that Elder Scrolls itch. Yeah,
and for me, so I started with Morrowind. I didn't start with Daggerfall or I can't remember the other ones.
Oblivion.
No, I started with Morrowind. Morrowind came before Oblivion.
Oh yeah.
It was the first one that came to a console. Well, it was the first one that was on Xbox, the original Xbox. And man, I played the shit out of that game. It was fucking phenomenal. And then I moved into Oblivion. Oblivion was the game for me. So I spent on the main game itself over 100 hours completing all the quests, all the guilds, all the different, side missions that you can do. So I 100%ed all of the achievements on the Xbox 360. And then the Knights of the Nine came out and the Shivering Isles. Knights of the Nine was kind of dumb because it was just horses and horse skins and stupid shit like that. But the Shivering Isles was fucking phenomenal. So it introduced a new Dremora god, I want to say. And correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I apologize. My memory is vague. It was probably 10 years ago. But his name was Sheol Gorath. And, dude, he was fucking crazy. So he was one of the craziest people that you've ever met. And he was almost like the Mad Hatter. And it was just so fun to play. It was so colorful. An awesome time. So...
Nice.
And you started with Skyrim, right, Devin?
Yes. Yeah, I was rather new to the Elder Scrolls world. I started with Skyrim and lost my life to it for quite a while. I'm eagerly anticipating E3 and hopefully an announcement of a new Elder Scrolls game. But until then, I'm having fun running with She-Ra on Elder Scrolls. It's CHE-RUH because some jackass took She-Ra before I could get it.
No, you were SHE.
Huh?
You were SHE.
Yeah, SHE-RUH. She-Ra.
No, you said C. You said CHE, and I'm like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
I agree. You did say C.
Well, you're both wrong, okay? That's all there is to it. I know what I said.
So
it's not She-Ra.
So we fucked up because I started on the Alderi Dominion and he started on the other one, and we're like, hey, we'll just run to each other. And so we spent like an hour trying to fucking run all the way across the Tamriel, only to find out that we can't even quest together then. We would be PvP, and then I'm like, man, fuck that. And so then I started, and I made my guy He-Man. He's He-Mon. And we're fitting the entire He-Man theme. We just need a Tigra. No, that's Thundercats.
Battle Cat.
The power of the Grayskull.
Yeah, exactly. So Roz, thanks for joining us again, man. We lost you for a second.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. The internet just decided to take a dump on me, and I was like, okay.
So, what games are you playing outside of your YouTube channel?
Well, I don't know if you guys are big into MOBAs, but I do enjoy playing Dota 2 a lot outside of YouTube, of course. When I usually stream before, a long time ago, in the lands of I don't know when, I would have played a lot of Dota 2, and it's just, I guess it's kind of like it's going through a lot of things, and it's hard to keep up with it, I guess, in a sense. But yeah, I played that a lot, and I don't plan on ever playing it on the channel either. So yeah.
See, I don't know if I could ever get into Dota or League of Legends. So Dota actually started on Warcraft 3. So there was a mod on there for Warcraft 3, and I played it a little bit there, but I was terrible. And you would get so much hate for not being good, and then they would just get so pissed at you and eventually vote kick you. It's like, man, fuck you guys. I'm new to this. And then, God forbid, if you download the map while you're in there, they kicked you right away.
Took too long.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got some experience with MOBAs. I got into MOBAs through Vainglory, which was a mobile game MOBA, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's 3-on-3, and it's like 3/4 view, like League of Legends is. I've played a little bit of League of Legends. I'm really been playing a little bit of Heroes of the Storm. I like that it's streamlined, and you can play it without the learning curve isn't as high as it is in League, and definitely in Dota. So I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
For me, I feel like the Dota 2, the difference between everything is like just strategy. Just it comes down to strategy and the things that is involved in terms of teamwork or characters or abilities and items and everything. And like all of them make up their own sort of like play style in a sense. Like Heroes of the Storm, it's like you don't need to concentrate on your you don't need to concentrate more on your what character to beat what character on, or you don't have to worry about like what like skill point stuff that you can get through outside of the games like LOL does. But yeah, basically that's how it usually comes down to, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate some of those communities are such cancer to video games that it's like, man, I don't even want to play because I don't want to deal with you guys. And
you know what the way I deal with that, if I ever run into that in a game, is I just be like as polite as possible. Like if they're like, get better, noob, I'll say like, thanks, man, I'm trying my best. Because there's nothing they can say. If you're just genuinely like the nicest guy in the world, like,
thanks,
there's
bro.
nothing
Great
they
advice.
can do. What was that?
Thanks, bro. Great advice. I really appreciate it. I didn't know that I had to get better to be good at this game. You're a genius.
But the difference is the sarcastic. You're being sarcastic there versus him saying like, "Okay, I appreciate your tip. I'm gonna do that, and give me some couple games, and I'll keep doing that."
Dude, I'm totally not
exactly.
sarcastic.
Yeah, it's
That's
not sarcastic. I'm not like, "Oh, great advice, bro." While giving like the jerk off motion or anything like that. I genuinely try and be like, "Thanks, man. I'm really gonna work on that. Appreciate it." And there's nothing they can say, and they usually just shut up.
Thanks, man. You're awesome. Can I be like you? I'm gonna spec you all the time. I feel like I nailed it.
That was. You kind of have a natural sarcasm to your voice. I don't know if you could pull off genuinely, like, appreciative.
Well, I'm about a full cup into my White Russian at the moment. So, We're flying high, buddies. But let's go ahead and get into the topic. So the topic tonight, Devin, I'll let you introduce the topic. This is your topic. I want you to take the full glory behind it.
Okay, so recently there's been a bunch of news coming out that at E3 we're expected to get some new versions of the PlayStation and Xbox. I think GameStop in their forecast, they said that they are expecting a whole bunch of sales of new consoles, and not just the NX. So the rumor is that PlayStation's going to have some kind of 4K model that will make sure that their VR runs well. And then the new rumor is that Xbox is going to have a new Xbox One model that's supposed to be 3 times faster than the PlayStation 4, I believe. So my question is, what is this? What is the cause of this? What is causing them to do this? And is it going to be bad for the console market in general?
So
Roz?
I have very strong opinions, but I'm going to let Roz go first.
Okay. Well, I mean, as a person who owns an Xbox One and plans on buying a PS4, I don't really think that they're going to be revving up for a new console. I don't think so. I highly doubt it. I think you got to give them one more year. I don't think we should be seeing or expecting to see one this year at all. But, I mean, a lot of people want to hype up something that they think is rumored to be true, but I'm not sure. Usually it comes down to either a rumor or the truth, and it happens in E3 2016. But for me, I think it's just too early for this, because recently we got like a new piece of technology for like people who are on the PC, which is like the graphics card GTX 1080. That's just barely got on the market, and you expect the console to get on the market as well? No, I think it's better just to hold it off for a little bit. Maybe PS4, I think, will probably offer a new model, but it'll probably I don't think Microsoft, on the other hand, would come up early with a new model just yet, because they're busy fixing their eyes on the HoloLens, and they're basically busy with Windows 10. A friend of mine just recently told me that Halo the tools for Halo is supposedly coming on PC eventually as well, but not this year probably. And all of that coming together for Microsoft, I think they're not really concentrated on a new console, considering all the things that are happening so far for them. But they're probably focusing more on just like taking their move next to PC, while PS4 is probably, of course, taking a move on to a new set of things for themselves on Sony's side.
Well, I partially agree with you, and I don't think they're going to move to the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox 2.
Yeah. I meant like maybe like a PS4 4.5 or something. I don't know, like something different in a sense.
So the PlayStation 4.5 rumor is already codenamed Neo. It's I want to say the specs have already been leaked, and it's already out there. So PlayStation's saying that it's not for it's better, and they've leaked the specs, but it's not going to fragment their market. So obviously there's big concerns that if a PlayStation 4 is out and then a PlayStation 4.5, 4K, Neo, whatever you want to call it, comes out alongside it, it fragments your market. So if you have a bunch of developers that say, okay, so the PlayStation 4, 4.5, 4K Neo, whatever we're going to call it, we'll just say 4.5, is the better specs, I'm going to make my game to that. So you can look at what Nintendo did with the 3DS and the new 3DS. They fragmented their market heavily, because when the new 3DS came out, there were games that were there. The rule was you have to make them for both. But there were games that were so unplayable for the 3DS that you couldn't even buy it or waste your time on it unless you had the new 3DS. I'm really hoping that Microsoft and Sony do not screw that up, because if they do, I might as well just go strictly PC, because, and Devin, here's where my strong opinions come in. I stuck to consoles for years. And I think you did the same exact thing, because I don't want to pay to upgrade my PC all the time. Now, I got away with a PC that had been there for about 7 years. I think I had a Radeon 47 or 4700 or something stupid like that. But now I took the time and I actually built a good PC with the 760. And Roz, that you mentioned that fucking 1080, I am so pissed about it because you went from the 970 to the 980, and then you went from the 980 to the Titan, which was like $1,000 card. But the 1080, the 1070, they're going to be like 300, 350, 400, and then the 1080 will be like 600. So it's already, the 1070 is supposed, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant here. But the 1070 is supposed to be equivalent to the Titan, and Nvidia is gonna sell it for $450 from themselves, but they're expecting aftermarkets to be sold for about $350, whereas the Titan sold for $1,000. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? So, anyways, I just built this PC. It's a 970 with an i7 5796. I can't remember the specs off the top of my head, but it plays every game on Ultra now. And why would I go and pay for an Xbox 1.5, a PlayStation 4.5, when I already have a PC that plays all the games?
With all due respect, you're not the market anymore. You know, you've joined the master race, as they say, which I hate. I mean, it fucking pisses me off whenever I see any of that master race, or like, consoles don't suck. Consoles serve a purpose. Just like you said, if you don't have, you know, $1,200 to invest in a PC, you know, not including actually getting a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse and a headset and all that kind of stuff, consoles, they pull their weight for what you pay for them. But anyway, that's just a little sidetrack. Do you think that, do you think the PC market is what is causing them to kind of talk about this? Or is it just that they see like the cell phone market where, oh, every 2 years people are paying for a brand new cell phone that has very little like new gadgets on it, and think, oh, we could do that too. We could do a cell phone model.
I think it's multiple, because I think a cell phone model is a great idea. You know, the iPhone comes out with a new phone. It comes out with actually a phone every year. So you have the iPhone 4, then you have the iPhone 4S, and then the next year you have the iPhone 5, 5S, etc. I think that leads to it. But I also think that it leads that the technology within these devices is changing so rapidly and so, you know, exponentially now that, you know, this new 1080 was released, that you can't live within a 5-year life cycle anymore. You need to keep that moving. But is a brand new console at the same market value or even more expensive? So I would imagine these are probably going to come in at the same price as the original launch Xbox. Is that viable though? Because if it's so hard grained that you can't upgrade it yourself, and you can't make, you know, individual upgrades as money, you know, dictates, is it viable to buy a brand new console? I don't think so.
That's the issue, you know. And the other thing is necessity. A cell phone, it's pretty much a necessity at this point in the world, you know, at least for me it is. I run my world from my cell phone. And so, you know, you carry them with you everywhere. You drop them, they get cracked, they're in your pocket, you're sweaty, stuff breaks on them. So you need a new phone every couple years, even if you don't go for the newest, flashiest model or whatever. I don't need a new console every year. It's not a necessity. It's a luxury. And I think if they're trying to find a market for people that want to spend or are willing to spend $600 every 3-4, 5 years or something like that, they're not going to find it, because those people that have that kind of money are already have PCs.
Agreed.
And
but I think
there's not going to be any kind of market for them, and they're just going to end up with a lot of their user base, install base, not upgrading.
But I agree. But part of it started with the PS2. So there was the PS2, but then there was the Slim. Or was that PS3? I think it was 2. And then
PS2 had a Slim.
Right. And then you have the Xbox 360, and then you have the Slim. And then you have the PlayStation 3, then you have the old fat one that played the backwards compatible, but then you have the Slims that came out. So it's not just this generation that it happened, but Xbox already had a second iteration, and it already had the Xbox Elite. So it has Xbox One, and then it has the Xbox Elite. which has upgraded specs and it has, the better components within it. So now they're going to go for a third? Like, to me, it is so ridiculous.
I don't think there is an Elite. Is there? I don't feel like I recall ever an Xbox One Elite before.
Yeah, the Elite had the same specs, but it had a 1 terabyte hard drive.
It's just an additional thing, technically.
Yes, yeah. The Xbox Elite had the 1 terabyte hard drive because I know I ran into it with my PlayStation. I ran out of room very quickly. 500 gigabytes when those consoles came out was just not enough for them to expect people to actually put games on their system. Never mind the fact that modern consoles don't even use the discs while they're in the drive. You put the disc in and it does just like on your PC. It downloads it to the hard drive and you run it off of that. So it was kind of an upgrade in the sense that 500 gigabytes is kind of a joke for a modern gaming system as far as hardware space. But even if we don't count that as an upgrade or a new version, I think there's more than just smoke with these current rumors. Like I'd said, GameStop in their forecasted earnings are basically saying there's going to be new versions of consoles for sale. I think there's more than smoke there, and I think it could potentially be bad for the console business.
So, I agree with you that it is an increase from 500 gigs to a terabyte, but that's not the only thing that changed. The hard drive isn't a standard hard drive; it's a solid-state hybrid. So,
okay,
it does run faster than the normal Xbox One hard drive, and you can buy an Xbox One 1 terabyte, but you can also buy the Elite that has a terabyte hard drive, but it's a solid state hybrid. So yeah, I agree with you. It's not much of a change, but man, they are I don't know, they're treading on dangerous waters because I've been a console guy for years, and if they are going to sell me a game that is one only for the later iteration of the generation, or two does not work on the original vanilla Xbox that I bought, I'm going to be done with it entirely because it is dangerous to give somebody much better specs and much better, processing power and core components, but then have to downgrade and code for the shittier product, right?
I feel like when it comes down to them making a new product, it's only because they think it's better for consumers. Well, I mean, I don't want to be offensive to anybody who's watching or listening to this. For those who don't know PC as much as some other people do, they just tend to just stick with consoles, and that's why a lot of people stick with consoles these days, because their kids don't know much about PC, and they just say, "Mom, get me that PS4 or that Xbox One," but that's because they didn't know what the PC has to offer in a sense, and they didn't think twice that a PC is where these games starts from. And then it works. And then as for Microsoft and Sony, it kind of works for them because it's like they don't think twice about how the consumer would feel when they actually show the real specs behind their actual consoles versus an actual powerful PC that costs maybe way less or way more by a little bit or a lot. Who knows? But overall, I think it's not just... Earlier, when you were talking about how the phone cycle was working and everything, I felt like if they're doing that, they also are going to be in-depth, because the next technological upgrade will most likely cost more or twice as much as the next thing. And of course, they might be waiting out for the next lower standard graphics card or CPU in their for their console, so they can buy it for cheap and then resell it as like as a console in a sense. But the main focus for me when it comes down to these consoles kind of thing, I feel like it's the exclusivity that just kills me off when it comes down to the consoles. That's the only thing that just keeps me coming back. But everything else is just like, if there wasn't for the exclusivity, I wouldn't keep going. And I would just stick with my PC.
Yep. Yeah, PlayStation exclusives are kind of one of my things that I refuse to give up. So I have a PlayStation, and I literally only play Naughty Dog games on it. And every once in a while, one of their other exclusives. The caveman robot game that they have coming out looks really good. No Man's Sky looks really good. So I'll pick those up. Other than that, my PlayStation is strictly for letting my kids watch SpongeBob and stuff.
Nice.
Not only that, I love Uncharted 4. I watched the whole Let's Play, and I really want to buy the PS4 for myself to play Uncharted 4 and the whole, first 3, but I just don't have the money. I'm just I gotta get other things before I can get my crap together for PS4,
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the question is do you want to spend the $400 for a console for, what, 2 exclusives a year that are really blockbusters? I mean,
Yeah.
that's hard to justify that purchase.
Agreed.
And then it's up against the 1080, which is $600 as Bob has mentioned. And not only that, 1070 is $379 plus tax is probably $400 or so, and that's around the same price point as the PS4 is.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. All right, so that's going to go ahead and do it for our show. Roz, really appreciate it tonight, man. You did a great job. Be sure to check out his channel, and it'll be in the description. It'll also be in the annotation. So again, thanks, man.
Thank you for having me, and hope you gain success, I guess, out of all these guests you get, I guess.
Appreciate it. And be sure to check out some of our other things. So we did have a recent episode of Stinkflix hit. It was a great episode. It was a shitty movie. Be sure to check out Devin's Retro Turds. Also be sure to check out the Full Nelson. It should be out by the time this airs. And so I watched the first match. It is fucking awful. Awful, awful. But Devin, you love it, man. So we'll venture down that path.
Your WrestleMccation has begun.
WrestleMccation. WrestleMccation. All right. So appreciate it, guys, and have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Hey everybody, this is Devin.
And this is Bob.
We want to thank you for watching the video. If you like what you watch, make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel as well.
Be sure to check out some of our other videos that are appearing on your screen as we speak.